All right, what's going on, Dewberry? So, um, usually the first thing I like to do is just look at this, this document that people send back. So this is what we got from you here. Short-term goals is Champ 3, currently at the top of C1. Improve reads and improve boost management. So, reads are definitely something that just it improves with experience. Um, so just the more time invested, the more time that you have, more repetitions getting reads, aka more play time. Those kind of improve. There's really no. I don't. I mean, you can definitely get in free play and bounce the ball around and banging around it and get reads and stuff. But other than just repetition, I don't think there's any way to kind of cheat um, improving reads. So boost management is something that we can definitely just make a conscious choice towards, making sure that we are not extending out towards large boost, the large boost pads, unless necessary. We want that type of rotation to be organic, where I'm already out here in this position, not pulling you from a good position out towards the edge of the field to go refill on resources. Instead, it's better to make use of the boost lanes or boost paths around the center of the field to make sure that you remain relevant. So long-term goals is season 15 grand champ. That's awesome. I think everybody can, if they're willing to continue to grind and continue to work at improving, I think anybody can get grand champ. Strengths are air game, speed, and rotation. Weaknesses is ground game, never have enough boost, awareness, defense, and bounce reads. Awesome. Okay, so if we think about these things, aerial game is a resource heavy, a resource intensive aspect, right? Ground game, you won't have to use boost. I know many times we do, but in the air you absolutely have to. Speed, many times people associate moving their car as fast as possible with speed. And sometimes I think that, good positioning is just as important in speed of play as is the actual speed of your car. But with speed, again, that's a resource intense thing. And so I would imagine that these two things, combined, is probably, part of this issue right here is we may be going for too much of this. Awareness, this is something that I always harp on right here. Big aspect of the game is just knowing what's going on. You're going to make better decisions when you have more information. So this is something I talk about all the time, and I call it camera work. Just the use of toggling between ball and car cam, as well as using your swivel stick and even rear view camera to just have a better idea of what's going on around you. It'll improve spatial awareness, field awareness. Just going to make you a lot more informed about how the game is unfolding. Weaknesses is defense and bounce reads. So defense is probably something that it can be position errors. It can be decisions leading up to you being on defense that have caused you a weird position. Ideally, I think we want to end up on defense as little as possible. So good defense is definitely going to be an extended, long-term, safe offense, if that makes sense. So anyways, these are fantastic. Let's jump in here and get this thing going. Man, I wanted to say this is a beautiful car. Oh my gosh, what a nice setup. I love these colors. Fantastic. Okay, so this is something that I know I talked a little bit about right here, and I'm just going to point it out because it's a great job. You know that you're just going to rotate back. You already have 40. If you pick up a couple more, you'll be at a comfortable amount. A lot of people, when they make this rotation, they're just gonna, by default, they're just gonna go out here or out to the corner. So already very good stuff right here. The other thing that I would do is in these times right here, we've lost sight of our teammate, even if just for a moment, right? We see he's back here. He's near post. Looks like he's probably swinging into net. Now I know that you're not zoomed in, laser focused on this guy. But my point is, we can see where he is in our peripherals. So he's back there, but then we lose sight of him, right? And so this is a dangerous play where many times we end up bumping that person because they're expecting you to be looking where you're driving. So I like to get a toggle in right here, even if just for a moment, just boom, boom, just real quick. Let me see where he is. If he's sitting, waiting back post, that lets me know, okay, I can make my rotation a little bit wider. Or if he's moving forwards, he's already exiting the goal, then that means you can make that nice tight rotation and get inside the net immediately. But right here, we're just kind of assuming. We want to take all assumption out of the game, and this is that awareness aspect. Very nice. I think it looked to me like your intention was to pass, but if your intention is to shoot, I would definitely say a pass would be a nice option here. Anything up here is going to be hard for the opponents. If we look at them, this is actually, they're all here and relevant on defense, but this is a really, really poor position for this team. Unless you shoot the ball directly down here, right? They're probably, like I said, horrible position, but they're probably, they're going to be able to cover any part of the net right in here. Maybe not over there. Anyways, my point is, they're all down here, so don't shoot it. Drop it off the backboard. I would even say if you can poke it up here, that's going to be really awkward. They're probably going to panic, and multiple of them are going to commit. Either way, the ball is directly above them, and you know what that is. You know how uncomfortable that is when you're directly underneath the ball, and it's about to drop in front of the net. So I would say if you were trying to pass here or kind of just make an extra touch, fantastic. That's what it looks like to me. But if you were trying to shoot, I would go ahead and opt for a pass. You know what I'm saying? So like drop it right here, and now both of your teammates, they're in a good position, and they can, even if they just decide to wait and see how these guys play it, they're going to have a harder time playing this ball that kind of waterfalls down instead of the one that you send directly at them. So just kind of buy your time, Let's wait until we get them in a stretched out, a bad position before we shoot, instead of just shooting at, all three of them right here where they're probably going to block it. All right, so you see that right there. That kind of lets me know that by default, we're not prioritizing the small pads first. Right here, you're at 25, and if you were immediately thinking boost pads, instead of flipping this way, you could flip into the pad, and so this would be 37, 49, 61, boom, boom, boom. Let's say your teammate, presses it back on offense, you can move forward, then you could grab that one and this one right here, and it's going to be this exact, it's going to be the same rotation. Look, swing out and then move forward, but instead of going all the way out here, you're just doing it on these pads, right? So you're staying a little bit closer, staying a little bit more relevant. The good news is that as you move along this path, you're regenerating. So you're multitasking, right? You're repositioning, but you're also refilling resources. Right now, when you elect to go out here, there's nothing out there, and so you're diminishing resource as you move away from the play. So this is kind of double bad. This is double good. But typically, the reason people avoid this is because we want more boost, and sometimes operating on these paths can be mechanically awkward. But that's part of improvement, is being able to function on a lower amount of resources. And this right here, this is going to keep you relevant. What if you look back right here? What if you look back and your teammate had dropped one on the backboard, right? If you were on this path and you're aware, you could immediately turn, but we can't immediately turn right here. We're too far away. What if your teammate made an infield pass, right? What if they were up here and then they just shot it infield? Like I said, if you're on this kind of, I don't know what to call this, like a banana turn path down the side, you know what I mean? This boost lane, you could turn and shoot, but like I said, out here we're too far away. So just keep in mind that these big corner pads around the edges of the field, they are an awesome benefit, but they come at a price, and that price is positioning. And so if we can survive on these pads throughout the field, throughout the middle of the field, that's where we want to position. That's a much better, more relevant position. The reason this becomes habitual is because a lot of times we get away with it like this. Like right here, you getting that boost, and now you're in third man role, nice and comfortable, everything works out good. That's reinforcing to you the idea that that's a good rotation. And really, we don't want to do that because, like I said, there are plenty of opportunities, plenty of other scenarios where had you remained relevant instead of pushed out here to the edge of the field, we could have capitalized. And as you continue to improve, those opportunities are they're gonna present themselves more frequently. Not only that, but I want you to think about this. If the teammate messes up right here and just misclicks, and we get a shot on net, right? This is a wider, longer path than straight back like that, right? That's what's so great about this is you're regenerating as you reposition, like I said. And so if you get to this point right here, actually, let me run it back. This is super important, so I like to go in depth here. So, like I said, 25, 37, 49, and then you get to this point right here, and you see the teammate has lost, and it's heading directly at net. Well, that's fine. I'm already heading that way, and there's 2 or 3 more on your path back. So 49, 50, no, 61. I'm sorry, 73, 85. Now I know you're going to be using some of this, but my point is that there's almost a full tank on the direct line back to the net. So even on worst case scenario, this is still a better option than the side boost. Great patience right here as a third man. Very nice. So I just want to talk about this for a moment. As a third man, these are the types of scenarios that you want to be careful. But both of our teammates are leaving. In fact, you guys are going to kind of cross paths, right? So while it's a little bit risky, I think you have a very, very good position. Even if you were to lose the 50-50, you are goal side, right? So he cannot shoot the ball at the goal because you're walling it off. So even if you lose, it's going to lose to a safe area. And these guys are heading straight back. So this one is actually okay, in my opinion. But this is a case-to-case type of thing. As a third man, you do need to be careful because if something does go wrong here, your teammates are not back in a good position yet. So a lot of times if we can fake that challenge, which I think would have also worked here, by zipping in and then immediately turning, or you could turn this way, I guess. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But just zipping up there and then turning away from it, many times you faking this challenge is going to evoke the same response from Mustache Man right there. He's going to do the same thing whether you challenge or not, if that makes sense. So a lot of times they'll just roll the ball, like you'll fake that challenge and they'll just roll the ball to you because they think you're going to challenge right here, so they dive into it. And then you just go, whoop, and you collect it, and then you start right here. So this is a good play, but I just like to talk about that third man role because that's a position that many times costs players. It costs them, they forfeit goals because of poor decision making as a third man. All right, so that's okay. This is definitely not, we didn't play this the best, I don't think. And you can see by how awkward things become. So right here is a great rotation back post, but now you become first because of the way this unfolds. And so you've got a teammate behind you. So, if I were you right here, I think I would probably try to grab that boost, zip up the wall, and see if I can bang it. If it becomes uncomfortable like this, I would say let's just leave and replace our teammate, because if I could zoom out here into a fly mode and you could make a decision on who of your 3 teammates you would rather hit this ball, this is the guy we want to hit it, right? If you hit it, you're going to hit it out in front of the net. If he hits it, he's going to hit it safely to the corner. Obviously, this guy can't hit it. So let's let him hit it, and then you just go replace him. And then your teammate should be jetting back quickly, and that means you can go next. But when you decide to stay in the corner, now you become awkward, right? So immediately, zip out there, go back post, face the ball. That way everything's comfortable. Then you'll avoid this. You'll avoid a 3-point turn right here, reverse, forward. Now, one other thing that I want to mention, and I talked about a little bit of camera work early on, it can definitely help with the field awareness and spatial awareness too, spatial awareness is why we drive up on the wall like this, right? If you were totally in sync and aware, this is also R2 syndrome, what some people call it, where you just spam, hold, accelerate. Right here, obviously, we don't need to accelerate. You don't want to go up the wall. You want to pivot and turn the net. But with the ball straight above us like this in ball cam, you have no idea who's attacking, right? We just can't see them. So this can be dangerous too. I think if we were in a better position, very nice catch. Oh, I like that a lot. That's a really good play. But were we in a better position back there, I think you could have been tucked inside the net even. And when you're inside the net and you toggle down into car cam, you're inside the net facing out of it. When you toggle down into car cam, you'll literally see all of this, right? And then the ball will fall down into your camera view. So initially we need to be in a better position, and then that camera work that we talked about earlier, it will be like this, right? If you're inside your goal and you're looking forward, you're going to see everything in front of the goal. So using those different cameras can help you out a ton. This is fantastic. I love this right here. Instead of just pressing it forward and jetting the ball as fast as you can at the net, take control of it. Try to get a nice flick. I like that a lot. That's all right. Great idea. Good stuff. We grab the boost and then back post rotate. Beautiful. This type of view, right? So this is exactly what earlier you were over here in the corner and you grabbed the boost, and this is exactly what you need to do. Just come get back here, right? This is so much more comfortable of a view instead of when you were right here looking straight up. Come back here, face the ball. This is perfect right here. Look at this. You'll be able to see everything in front of you. Be nice. Yep, just let him go. Perfect. That's all right. So I'm going to tell you, I can't see him. Actually, I do know what happened. So Armadillo over there is definitely going to be third man. He's going to rotate out, but he rotates really shallow. He rotates really shallow and is ready for a pass across, but you're ready for the pass across. And so one thing that you can do is more camera work. It's something that I like to do because I get this from teammates a lot. I get really aggressive teammates where, like I said, you're assuming, just like earlier, that this guy knows that he's going to be third. 1, 2, he rotates out, and he's 3. It's very obvious, but players don't rotate. They don't think about those things. So something you can do, a quick toggle of the car cam, or even just flick your stick over there and see what he's doing. And you'll see that he's, okay, he cut rotation, then I need to be a little more patient, right, instead of diving or moving forward at all. But if we look at this, he's nowhere to be found back here. Our teammates still press forward over here. So if we look at that, that's a miscommunication, but it's the result. Our third man, whoever it is of you two, one of you is the third man for sure, is pressed too far forwards. So this is what I was talking about earlier with that third man thing. So because of his poor rotation, you are actually the third guy because you're the deepest one on the field, right? Now, I know that you weren't aware of that, but this is part of what I talk about. Like, unfortunately, you can't change how they play. We just have to play with what we have. So instead of assuming, just look over there, see what he's got going on. I'll show an example of that real quick. Okay, so I'm staying back. My teammate cleared it forward. Now I got this guy and this guy. This one telling me with his body language that they're rotating, right? They're leaving. So I see that, but now I've lost them, and I don't trust it. So the ball ends up going this direction, but before I move into that zone, I have to check over there and make sure that person didn't just turn back on the wall and start moving down the field, right? I cannot assume that they're going to make the obvious rotation. I just can't do that. So you see I check, okay, they did go back for boost like they look like they were doing, so I can move into the zone. Now I go forward. This is that same type of situation right here. I know my teammates over there. They should rotate back. I would expect them to, but let me just check. Let me just make sure. And then, like I said, you wouldn't even have to leave. You would just know that, okay, well, I'm the farthest one back. I just have to be a little more patient, a little more cautious. And so maybe we don't dive in right here. My goodness, where are they? That's insane. Look how far up the field they are. If we can't see them, oh, they're in the net. They went for a demo. You had assumed you had a third man behind you, and the third man that you assumed was back there behind you was going for the demo. That's how important camera work is. And this is the exact example that I talked about earlier, where the third man, when they move forward too far, we end up with this like race back to the net. Like, can I please get back and make the save? This is what happens when our third man moves too far forward. Nice first touch. Really good first touch. Okay, I'm going to show you something really quickly, especially because of the way this unfolds. All right, so we beat the first guy. All right, 1, 2, 3. You see all three of them right over there. Beat the first guy. Where's the second and third guy? We don't really know. What if they both ran away and you could let this ball come down to you and you could flick it, or pop it up and air dribble it, or catch it and take it up the wall and then do an air dribble, or bang it off the backboard? My point is, you could do anything that you wanted to if you knew that you had time. And if we look at this, still nobody over here. So one here, There may have been a challenge. I don't see the other blue guy, so there may have been a challenge. But what I'm going to show you here is not the exact same scenario, but similar. So I make a clear, and I'm going to get this ball and go, but I can't see anything over here. So what I do is I check again on my camera. Okay, I see a guy rushing. That means I need to touch it as quick as I can. I grab the boost, touch. Okay, now I can play. So I just check what's going on before. Dang, I keep doing that. I just check what's going on before I make my decision. And so if you could toggle down, or even right here as it's bouncing, just use your swivel stick and look over there. It would help you make a better decision. You would just know, oh wait, I have time. Oh, I have no time. The guy's rushing me. We'll just make better decisions the more information we can see. Nice. That's a really good fake challenge. Perfect. Good stuff. Good stuff. That bump was the save. That was nice. Nice pass over to the teammate. Okay, I want to show you something. I know this is kind of a scramble right here, and everything's wacky. But right now, think about B Moore's finest. Think about from his perspective. Oh no. What this looks like, right? Okay, if you're this person back here and you see this car driving to the ball, you're thinking, okay, they're gonna kick the ball this way. Maybe this way or this way. But in general, somewhere this direction, right? You're here, the ball's here, you're approaching it like that. Ball's going to go somewhere this way. Okay? And instead of doing that, instead of trying to make the initial first clear, you just dink it over to a teammate. And so I want you to think about where this person's nose is facing, right? If they knew you were going to dink it to the teammate and the teammate was going to clear it, they would have already took off running, right? But they don't think that. They think you're going to clear it. This is why passing to clear from defense to offense is so just effective, because you have a sharp just change of direction, change of trajectory, whatever you want to call it. So they are expecting this. They get this. They adjust to this, right? This person probably starts going this way, and then they get that. So it's like you trick them and you go back to this. I don't know if that makes sense or if it's just rambling, but you pop it over here, and so now you can even see Nilix heading back over that direction. And then your teammate gets a free easy clear over their head. So that, that it's just kind of misdirection, right? You get them going one way thinking that's where it's going, and then your teammate swoops in and scoops it a different way. Super, super effective way to clear yourself out of defense, transition into midfield or even into attack. Nice. Good. Let the teammate go. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. So, all right. I know he's there, and I know my other teammate's right over here. But I need to look over there, right? And then you can see that, like, okay, this person right here is diving forward for a demo or something, so I have to be very careful as a third man. Very nice. Good shot. I think that's an okay time to shoot, right? The one person that's back in net is kind of diving back there right now. Net's pretty open. I think this is a good time to shoot. Whereas last time, we talked about it, there was all three of those players inside the net. Teammate got greedy for midfield boost as the last person. First off, oh my goodness, this is so crazy. So you're in the corner, COOPD is right here, and then this third is right there. Look how close they get. You can see them right there. See that? They get so close in the corner. If I could zoom out into fly view, all three of you are packed so close inside this super aggressive corner. That's just really bad positioning. And then they don't even retreat straight back to net. They take off for the midfield boost. They're very lucky they didn't get scored on right there. As you face better and better opponents, that's going to be punished every time. Nice clear. It's a favorable bounce. It bounced up high. Ooh, good shot. Good rotation out. So right here, this is where we want to look. Because what we think is Amadeo is back, and I think they run for boost. And so the reason you rotate the way you do, this is nice and patient, driving back, and then I want to show you this. Amadeo comes in the picture from over here, right? And so if you knew at this moment, A great time to toggle the camera is during this flip, right? As soon as you initiate the dodge, where this puff of smoke is, until you land again, you can't do any mechanical inputs, right? You're just along for the ride as this flip animation happens. Whoop. You just sit there. So while we're sitting there, if you'll toggle, you already know that you dodged here, you dodged forward, so you're going to land here. You already know that. You just have to wait on this animation. So dodge, toggle the camera. The camera will look back this way. You'll get a blank field, which tells you he's got to be somewhere over here, right? And then when you get that, you would say, okay, I have to rotate and cut this. Even if it's just a fake challenge, like I rotate at it and then shadow. But you'll know that it's your turn because there's nobody back here. Right now, this rotation is like you're allowing this third person to go. And then you realize, oh, they're not even there. That's where this camera work comes into play. These are so tough. These are so tough. I hate these wall reads. These corner reads. But if we slow this down, and this is where we're talking about with your reads, this is just going to come with more of these right here. The more times this happens, the better you're going to get at reading this. But if we look at this, it's fixing to hit this wall, or it just hit this wall, right? And it glanced off that one, and it's going to hit this, like, I don't know, this flat corner panel. All right, and if it hits this flat corner panel, it's going to bounce out. You jumped this way as if it was going to bounce down or even roll down. I don't know if you can see that. These are super minor details, but I know that you mentioned the reads, and so, you know, paying attention to like what surface it's going to hit, and then the angle of that surface and the angle of its approach. Right, the ball glances off the sidewall, coming this way. If it hits this flat surface, it's going to bounce out. If it was to hit this curved, you know, these little, I don't know, like rounded corners right here, these are when it gets really tough to read, because then it sometimes rolls. Sometimes it, you know, zooms straight along the wall. It does a lot of crazy things. But right here, I think we can see this. It's going to bounce off that side flat panel. Now, it's easy to point out. It's very hard to recognize and then, like, fix it in game. This is something that I do all the time. I mess this up all the time. But it's just something that the more that we're aware of how it happens and why it happens, we can probably have a better chance of making sure it doesn't happen. This is really, really phenomenal. I always talk about defending from inside the net, and you're inside here, you know, giving yourself a great position to defend a lot of different shots, so I really like that. When you sit on the goal line, exactly like our teammate right here, things become very awkward. These little things like this, you got 16, and you know that you want to rotate. You can do this and make a sharp drift turn without using any boost. Hold on to your 16 and just rotate straight back into net. But instead, we use boost during our turn, which is going to make our turn wider. We don't use any power slide. And then we take the longest rotation back. You went from here, boosted this direction, went out, and went like this. Instead, let's just go, right? Short little hairpin turn by hitting, you know, it's going to be a slower turn, and it's going to feel slower, but if you look at these two routes, if this is where we want to go, this one is way faster, and you would conserve 16 boost. This is exactly the point that I was going to make earlier, or that I did make, I guess, or that I mentioned, where like the speed of the car at all times moving faster doesn't equate to a faster game of play or faster pace of play, gameplay, right? At this point right here, we need to get right there. Ball's moving that way. That's what we need to do. Hold on to this. You may even have this one pop up, or maybe that one. And you could have, you know, 12 more would be 28, almost 30 boost. Instead, we take the longest route possible. And then don't have enough boost there. Oh, nice turn. Really good job reading this. If you can get a dodge onto it, that's going to be really nice. You may even be able to shoot that. I think you could side dodge to the left right here. Very nice read, though. Again, let's talk about transitioning out of defense. Okay, we look at this. We're on defense. Instead of Armadillo, instead of straight at net, he passes it up this area. Now, I know that he may not be looking at you. He may just be passing off the wall to himself. But either way, my point is he doesn't go for the direct clear. They go for this, find you up here on the wall, and then you redirect to, like I said, a new trajectory, a new direction, and they're all taken off guard. Now the ball's over them, awkward. And while it's not we don't capitalize, it is an opportunity. All right. These are the tiny things. You're pretty much on this correct path. All right, get on that midline. You're pretty much on it, but we miss all of it. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 48 more, which would be a lot. I mean, that'd be plenty. Nice, good patience under. Nice. I like this decision. Just hold it down. Hold down the fort. It's very awkward right now. Stay back, stay safe. I like this. Good. That's fine. Ooh. Ooh. Close. I like this too. Patience. Very nice. Just to make a minor note, if we want to pick this up and turn back, we should do it like this, right? Not up the wall. These are the things that we just kind of have to like, I think this is a result of autopilot where we're just kind of playing. But if you think about things, right, you could just turn on a dime right here and then be prepared to move back. And then if you want to, you can move forward actually. Instead, we just continue to hold R2, RT, and accelerate, and then we run up the wall. Right, there's no reason for us to go up here. Either way, I like the decision to delay and play defense. Kind of make them, you essentially just say like a force, you know, you're forcing them to play their hand. Let's see what you got. So this is the second time now that I've seen where you turn up the field right here and look for this forward play. These are okay, and I'm not going to tell you don't do this, but these are very high risk. So if it's something that you capitalize on a lot, then don't shy away from it. Just understand that, you know, when you move forward like that, you are taking a lot of risk. Nice. Nice. Oh, thought the bouncer went back post. Again, right there, let's hit some pads. All right, teammate 1, teammate 2. So I got 1 leaving. Good, we see him 1 time. But if you look at this, I can tell you right now he's turning on the wall right now. There he goes. All right, so now when we get back on ball cam, we should have still been able to see him. So you know he's out there. Oh, well, there's one, and the other teammate just rotated this way. Okay, so this is very, very, very similar to the example I showed you. The teammate rotated that way. But before I can move into this space, I got to look. This is almost identical, but mine happened on that side of the field. If you look at this, look at that. They're jetting forwards too. And like, that is not your fault. But you are in control of something where you could prevent a double commit from happening. And that's just the skill of camera work. Nice, good early challenge. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Great calmness back here on defense. In a good position. Got that good shadow spot. Realize that you've got an opportunity to challenge. See the guy doesn't challenge for whatever reason. Get a nice first touch. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Teammate would have loved to see that one be scored, but that's okay. Many times the barely missed shots result in the best passes. Those bouncers too. Man, those bouncers are dangerous. People are not expecting that. Okay, right here as a kickoff strat. Normally, many teams will go here, go for boost, go for cheat, but that leaves nobody at the net. And right now, do we even need to position for offense? No, we don't. We need to hold on for 5 seconds. So what I hope I see here is someone hang around the net. Oh no. Oh no. We double cheated for boost. What if our teammate misclicked? Is this right here more important than 5 seconds for a dub? This right here, this is habitual, just default decision making. And I kind of referenced it earlier, autopilot. When we get on, we're just trying to have fun. It's leisure, it's recreation. And so we just kind of, we don't use the like maximum amount of focus. But if you are focused on winning and you want to win that game, you need to do in that moment the best thing for your team to have the winning outcome. And right here with 5 seconds, that's absolutely protect that net. There's, you know what I'm saying? And so that right there, we can apply that to every second of the game. Don't think about how can I hit this clip. Don't think about, if I stay up here and sit on their backboard, I might get a sick shot that I can post on Reddit or Twitter or whatever. Those things are so, man, when you hit them, oh my gosh, it's so incredible. And you see pros hit those, but those opportunities, they are not forcing them. That's happening organically. They're just in that position, and they are so good with car control that they can pull those amazing feats off. So anyways, just make sure we're laser focused at all time to make sure that we are just putting our team in the most advantageous position to win. All right, so let me pull this back up. Whoops. Okay, so some reads. We talked about that. It's just gonna take reps. Boost management. I think a big one right here is gonna be pathing. You were not capitalizing on moving around the field over boost lanes. If you do, you'll have a lot more boost. It's definitely going to take a little bit more precise dodging, just a little more accuracy in general as you move around the field. But like I said, the result is going to be a significant amount more of boost. Strengths, air game, speed and rotation. I agree with these things. I think for the most part, when decisions came your way, you made the right decisions. The only thing that we were lacking was that awareness in the decision making, right? So a lot of times we just didn't look at where our teammate was. We just kind of assumed, right? We thought, hey, surely they'll make this type of rotation. That's the obvious one, and they don't. Unfortunately, that never ends. That goes all the way up the ladder. People just do unpredictable stuff, and so we have to make use of those cameras. We have to have good awareness. Weaknesses, ground game. I never have enough boost. I think you could fix this one pretty easily. Ground game, I don't think it was like subpar by any means. I mean, you brought the ball down and carried it a couple times, had a couple of flick opportunities, and then bounce reads. Yeah, we saw that. So a couple things. Let me open up my game. Definitely an important part of improvement and becoming better is certainly the mechanical side of things. I just think that many times the reason we're stuck in positions that become mechanically difficult and we fail are typically due to poor decision making just leading up to that point. So anyways, on to training. All right, normal field here. So some things that I would recommend are to really, really dedicate some time to half flipping and wave dashing. I think those are two things that I think I saw some half flips or maybe some attempts, and maybe not. I can't remember, honestly. But if you will work half flips and wave dashes into your gameplay, it's definitely going to speed up the pace of play. You're going to be able to recover quicker in tough situations. They are certainly skills worth investing in, and I think they will really help you make that climb towards Grand Champ. So what I would recommend is just like you saw me doing right there, just spamming it, just coming in here. The thing that is great about these are they are off-ball mechanics, and so you don't even need to touch the ball to practice it. And when you're in free play like this, you can really focus on the actual muscle memory, like the movement that you need to execute this correctly. Whereas in game, many times you're under stress. You know, you've got a teammate or opponent there, and you need to make things perfect. And so with pressure and stress, we're not going to get as good quality of muscle memory, just reps. So we need to come build that good muscle memory in training. So like I said, if you could do that, I don't know, 2.5 minutes for half flipping and 2.5 minutes for wave dashing, just off the wall. Just doing some of that right there. Another way that I use it is out of the net. I actually use it onto the walls and off the walls. Anytime you're landing on a new surface, if you can mix it in, it's certainly worth it. You just get a burst of speed. So use wave dashes anytime that you can when it makes sense. You know, if you've got plenty of boost and you need to get straight back to net, obviously, you know, we don't want to be doing this right here because this is not a very effective way to accelerate. You know, when I jump, I'm no longer accelerating, I'm just floating. My wheels aren't on the ground. And so, like, if I need to get all the way back, just one dodge and let's go. I need to cover that ground quickly. But wave dashes can definitely help you accelerate initially and help you, like I said, just pick up pace around the field without having to use any boost. So definitely recommend those two things. I think another mechanic that's worth mentioning is the speed flip. If you haven't looked it up, it's the same thing. So you've got half flips, right, which is a back flip, and then you cancel it. And you are probably aware of just flip cancels in general, where you have the front flip and you cancel it, and so it doesn't do a full front flip, right? Just kind of half of it. Well, a speed flip is just a diagonal version of that, and so you go like northwest, right, front and left, like a forward dodge or a forward diagonal, and then you just cancel that. And so it can be done to varying levels of success, but there are a few videos out on it that cover it. Musty has one, I know, but I just want to say that I think it's worth looking at. I would not, if I were you, I would not recommend implementing it in kickoffs because kickoffs are volatile and you need to do something that you're confident in. And this is going to be a very, very difficult mechanic to master, but I think it is worth time looking into because I think in 6 to 8 months, maybe even 10 or 12. I think a lot of players at Champ 2, Champ 3, Grand Champ, even low Grand Champ, I think they're all going to be speed flipping. So I don't think it's a waste of time. Even though it is a highly technical advanced mechanic, I think it's worthwhile. So I would also check into that. And those things are all great because they can speed you up in just moving around the field. You're not training for like a specific thing. You're just learning to move the car quicker. So I think those are definitely worthwhile and good uses of your time. So definitely do those three things. Obviously, just banging the ball around in free play, chasing it, trying to get touches, air dribbles, anything that you want to work on. I like free play because it's organic. You have to set it up yourself. Whereas training packs, many times it's just the same thing over and over and over. So free play is always good. You can also just spend time in here mixing in all these different mechanics, wave dashing onto the wall, off the wall, drifting, turning, half flipping, just recovering, jump up to the ceiling, go back down. Just any type of movement mechanic. If you flex that out, just stretch it out, get warm with it, do all that stuff. You do that every day. That's definitely going to help with the consistency mechanically. So you got that. There's some aerial training that you can do. I know Kevpert put out some stuff really early on in Rocket League's life, and this stuff was console friendly. And so what he would recommend is that you go around the field and you weave in and out of the boost pads on the ground. And so you ski in and out of those. Sorry about the dogs. You can do this forwards. Do one lap forwards. Then once you complete that, turn it around and do one lap backwards. You could do one lap facing left, one lap facing right. And then you can maybe do a lap like constant air roll. You can do whatever. You can do all kinds of challenges. Another thing that you could do is just practice jumping off the wall, different aerial recoveries, and then fly to a corner. You can fly up to the ceiling. I know these things feel basic and trivial, but they are definitely helpful in just improving car control and just becoming better acquainted with mastery and movement, which I think is the key to improving mechanically. So a couple things to do in free play there, just to mess around. Like I said, move the ball around, smack it as hard as you can, chase it up, try to follow it up, try to get the quickest touch that you can. Those are great ways to improve mechanically. The next thing that I would recommend, there is a custom training pack where someone is kind of mimicking the dribbling challenge workshop map on PC. And so what they do here is they put you on a map where you can't, the timer is so short you cannot drop the ball. And so it obviously starts out very, very simple. But you get more and more challenging as you go through. Backs you up, ends up making you turn, puts the ball on your car as you're rolling away from the net that you want to score in. There's a few different challenges, but I think it would be great to at least work into just like your normal routine of even if it becomes relatively easy for you. I think it would be good to just get these reps in, every day, every time that you log on, because ball control is super important. I think it would help you with better understanding the hitboxes and like what you need to do to manipulate the car correctly to get good flicks. I know that was something that you said your dribble game, your bounce dribble game, your air, or not your air game, your ground game in general, you think you could improve on. And so I think this would be a great tool to just get, like I said, just get more reps, get a better understanding of the ball in the car and how they react with each other. And you could set PRs, you could set your personal record and then try to beat yourself. So cool little challenge, cool little workshop, or not workshop, but training pack, since you guys don't have workshops on console, that you could do to help yourself improve. And I will link this to you when I share this video. So outside of that, there are a couple videos that I do want to share with you. And I mentioned Kevpert and his car control videos. So these are his car control videos. I'll link all three of them to you. Well, I'll link the first two actually. I don't think the third one. I don't think you could do it on console. But these are phenomenal for car control. You may have already seen them. If you do, obviously just skip ahead. But these right here are fantastic. They're going to help your aerial shots, your recoveries, your aerial striking, your speed in the air, recoveries in general. Man, it's going to help so many different aspects of the game. Super, super worth your time. And then the last thing that I would say about training is just to try to make it fun and try to make it attractive to you, because the more time that you spend training, the better you're going to be. That's just how it's going to work. If you think about any type of professional, anything, whether it be a musician, a dancer, a performer, an athlete, traditional athletes, you think about their game time or performance time versus their practice time, and they don't even compare, right? Their practice time is immensely larger. So we don't have to do that, but we can learn from them and just understand that to improve, to become something better than what I am, it's going to take, it's just going to take time practicing. And so you just find those things that you want to improve on, and you just hammer away at it, start working on those things, work them into a training regimen. It doesn't have to be super strict or anything, but you can kind of build yourself a warm-up routine or something that, is like your training schedule when you feel like training. But the more frequently you can do that, the quicker that you are going to improve. So, man, that's all I got for you. I think the big things are going to be boost economy, right? Picking up those pads, using those different boost lanes to travel around the field, camera work to improve that awareness. And then we're going to work on that aerial game, that half flip and wave dash game, even maybe some speed flips to help us improve our speed of play, which I think is also going to improve by better boost pathing, making sure we're not making those really wide rotations out for the big boosts. You're going to be more relevant with more resources in better positions to make saves and shots when you can do those things. So that's what I got. And, man, I hope it was helpful. Appreciate your patience. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out on Discord, and wish you the best of luck. Thanks again.